and I'm going to show you how you can, in a way, feel more empowered and not feel like everything in life is happening to you. That's really what it is. It's a shift into understanding. In this episode, I want to share a little bit about, just where I'm at in life in general and just the transitions I'm talking about right now. But in general, this episode is on letting go and understanding what is called the locus of control. The locus of control is going to help us understand how we draw our sense of belief in ourselves, our sense of self-esteem, or our sense of self in general, and how we relate in the world. And I'm going to show you how you can, in a way, feel more empowered and not feel like everything in life is happening to you. That's really what it is. It's a shift into understanding your own ability to set intentions and to, in a way, control your life, but at the same time, ride that razor's edge to where you're not resisting at the same time, because there can become a level of control that maybe it's like, too much resistance is infused into the process. So control can both be a good thing and a bad thing depending on the context and also depending on the exaggeration of it. If somebody is controlling things way too much from the ego's perspective, then there will be created a lot of resistance. If somebody is in a state of passiveness, maybe some sense of control or some sense of internalization could actually help them. So it's interesting how this works. So there could be like a lazy, lackadaisy perspective that's like everything's just happening to me. There's nothing I can do about it. But then there's this other side of the spectrum that's like I must control everything. And on either side of these extremes, there is pain. There's resistance. There is either passiveness, resistance, and resentment, or there is a level of control and like having to manipulate environment in many ways. Now, this also got me thinking because just this, there's been so much change this last week or two, and I wanted to share with you how I've let go of control, but at the same time, control to a certain perspective based, I guess, on my own intuition in a way. Let me explain to you what I mean by this. So, when I decided to come to Austin, first off, I've been feeling this call to move to Austin for a while. I've been in Sedona. I originally made the move from Las Vegas, which is where I was born and raised, to then going to Sedona. And initially what happened is I moved in with a friend of mine, also an entrepreneur, and we had an investment house there, but then COVID happened, so the plans kind of changed because then the idea was, for him at least, to get out of San Diego, and then he went to Sedona full time, and I was like, oh, well, I need my own house type thing. So after about 6 to 8 months of that, I then bought my own house in January of this year. And what happened is I bought my own house, and this is kind of where it got tricky because I became so invested in this house. I bought a house that I loved, had a great view, but the house was very outdated. So I put what I thought I was going to put was $50,000 into this house to make it like what I wanted. That didn't turn out so well. I ended up putting about $200,000 into this house to make it look the way that I wanted, and it's a beautiful home, by the way. It's like in the perfect spot in Sedona. It's close to a whole bunch of hiking trails. I love that house. It's amazing. And I ended up getting new granite throughout the whole thing. The stuff just keeps adding up. And then there was also some unexpected things that happened with the house, like the roof had to be. I had an inspection report and everything, but the inspection didn't pick up on a lot of things that went wrong. So it's an interesting thing I'm dealing with now. But the roof had to be completely replaced. The day I moved in, it snowed. So I was driving back. It was snowing, and it's a flat roof, so the snow from it cracked different parts of the walls, and there was just leaks and stuff throughout the house. And after that, there were little things. This thing called a grinder pump. This little grinder pump thing that goes out to the sewer that grinds things up so it can go out to the sewer. It's not on septic, but it was that piece alone was like $6,000. It cost $8,400 just to have that fixed. Okay, there's another expense. I realized I rented my whole life growing up, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I'm gonna buy a house. Well, I bought a house, and then I had all these expenses, little things too. There's a crawl space underneath the house, which means there's 5 feet of like space, and there's like all these rats and stuff that you got to I got to figure out because they've torn up insulation and wires and stuff. And then I also put a lot of cosmetic stuff in it. I put a steam shower in the house. I redid all the tile throughout the whole entire house. It was old tile, carpet throughout the whole house. It's now all like really nice hardwood. I put a lot into it, and I love the house, and it's beautiful. And I even had an amazing interior designer come in and interior design the house based on my needs. And I basically was very invested in this house. I move in, and it was like, I was like, oh, the vibe here is so good. And prior moving to Sedona, what I would do is I would be in Vegas, and I'd go to Sedona especially with a buddy of mine, Victor, and we'd go like every, 2 or 3 months. We'd go for like 3 days. And it was always perfect. And then we'd come back, and it was always just the right amount of time, I mean, we could have stayed longer, but eventually I ended up moving there. And then I lived there for about a year, and I lived in my own house from, January all the way up until June. And I was traveling throughout that as well. But there was just something about it where I felt like I was a little bit too, being in Sedona, just to get to the airport's an hour and a half away, 2 hours away, 2 hours away from the airport. So if I want to fly to Costa Rica or even Los Angeles or anywhere, before I even get on the plane, I'm 2 hours deep in travel every single time. And then what happened is, just being there is awesome, but it's a very introspective place. And it's funny, I had a session with Bashar, who is somebody that you guys may know I've talked a lot about in the past. Bashar is like an Abraham Hicks type thing, where he's a channeler. And my buddy Victor and I had a session, and I was talking to him, and I was like, the energy of Sedona is very, on Spiral Dynamics, it's very green, which means it very much enhances like going inwards, like being in nature, eating healthy, like very positive things in life. But at the same time, I found it hard for me to get into business mode in Sedona. Now, there's a purpose, there's a purpose in being in business mode, and there's a purpose being in creative land and going inwards. And I did more personal growth than I've ever done in my life in Sedona by living there for a year, for sure. And Sedona back in the day, too, I guess used to be like some form of like plant medicine place where the Native Americans would go to do plant medicine. And that resonates with me. I feel like Sedona itself is plant medicine. You don't need to go there and do it. You go there, it is plant medicine. It activates stuff inside of you. The energy there is so powerful. There's a lot of, whatchamacallit in the rocks. There's a lot of iron. Yeah, there's a lot of iron in the rocks. And there's just a high frequency there. It's very interesting to even explain. But basically, I bought that house. I put money into it. And it's an amazing house, and I love it. But the energy of Sedona is not sustained for the next level that I feel like I'm going with my business. My business is I want to like do live events. I want to start doing more in-person interaction. You can do that in Sedona. It's just much harder for people to come and visit. So if if I want people to come to an event in Sedona, they have to travel to Phoenix and fly, and then they have to get like a shuttle for 2 hours to Sedona, and it makes it a little bit more challenging. And maybe eventually, I do retreats out there or something, but to just go out for like a day or two event, it might be a lot for people. But also the energy there, when I was talking to Bashar, I was asking him, I was like, when I go to Sedona, it seems like it's really easy for me to do personal work, but doing business is a little bit like, if I'm thinking about like, strategy of my business and like, doing meetings and all this stuff, it seems a little bit more forced. And he's like, I was like, am I going to be in Sedona, or is that a good place for me to live? And he kind of alluded that you'll go in and out of Sedona, back and forth between Vegas and Sedona, and you'll feel it out type thing. And Bashar doesn't ever he doesn't just tell you exactly what's going to happen, because there's nothing set, but he could tell that I'd go back and forth. And I feel like what I'm doing now is I just felt this calling to Austin, and now with Austin, I'm going back and forth. And but here's the thing: is I'm so invested in that house because it's so amazing. I bought all new furniture for it. I had it interior designed, but now I just feel like I want to simplify my life, and I want to go to Sedona when I want to go on vacation, so I could just rent an Airbnb, because I can't Airbnb my house. My house is in an HOA, so I can't do, it's just pretty much a house that's sitting there, and it's a nice house that's sitting there. And recently, the real estate agent that sold my house to me came over to my house and saw all the renovations, like, oh, I could easily get this much for your house. And it's like, I'd be making like quite a bit of money, like 500 to 700K in the last couple months on just the equity in the house, because Sedona is going crazy real estate market wise. And there's a big letting go factor of this, because I'm so invested. And I think this happens sometimes. We become so invested in things emotionally and energetically that to let it go, it seems dumb, but sometimes the letting go may be the path of least resistance. I hope you guys enjoyed that little segment from my podcast called the Aaron Doughty Podcast. If you want to listen to the rest of that episode, click the link below. You'll see it on iTunes and Spotify. You can download episodes. It's so easy to listen to. You can do it while you're working out, while you're driving. It's so convenient. And that's where new episodes go live every Tuesday and Thursday. Every single week, I have guests coming on the podcast. I have solo episodes, and we go really deep. This is really a place where I get very personable, and I share more about things I'm thinking of. I share my top book insights, and you can check it out and subscribe below, and you will see it there. So iTunes, Spotify, listen to the rest of the episode below as well, and I hope you guys enjoyed. And as always, I'll see you guys on the next episode. Peace, much love, and namaste.